This is a 40-20 Pauper match of Sorcery Contested Realm. Pauper is a format that uses only commons and uncommons, so in Sorcerer's case, ordinaries and exceptional cards. There's no standardized rules for the format yet, it's open to interpretation. I'll go ahead and link a link to a Discord that that is actively discussing Pauper format and what a standard for the format for Sorcery could be. But the game that we're playing here at Lucky Lab in Portland, Oregon is a 40-20 common and uncommon only, using the beta precon avatars and the Sorcerer. So up top is my friend Kyrian playing a Flamecaller deck, and then I'm at the bottom of the screen playing a Sorcerer deck. Turn 1, I'm going to tap for a Hunter's Lodge, then pass turn. Flamecaller will tap for a Desert and pass turn. Sorcerer will tap for a Tower, and unfortunately I can't take advantage of the additional mana on Genesis this turn, but I play a Wall of Brambles out. And this Sorcerer deck is just kind of like it was kind of built like a fun deck, and it's kind of gimmicky. It's designed to get things out like Wall of Brambles, Briar Patch, and then use Force Movement to push enemy units through those obstacles. Flamecaller plays a Poison Well. It'll do 1 point of damage because it's nearby the tower. And I'm going to draw a spell for turn. Tapping Sorcerer for a sight. It's going to be another Tower. 4 mana for turn. Gotta play a second Wall of Brambles. So on its own, a Wall of Brambles would only do 2 points of damage to a unit trying to get through. So there's a lot of things that could survive coming through one wall. With 2 walls, anything coming through is going to take 4. Kane's gonna play a Funeral Pyre. The Genesis will have no effect. There are no cards in the cemetery yet at this stage of the game. Untap and draw a spell for turn. And I drew a White Knight. And I felt pretty good about that at this point because he had already gotten a point in, which means that I would be able to take advantage of that discounted casting cost on the White Knight, and because of that I tapped to draw a spell with the Sorcerer on this turn instead of playing a sight. So I got out the White Knight. For 3 mana. It's a 3/5. I felt pretty good about getting that out on turn 3. And again, the only reason why I tapped for I tapped the Sorcerer for a spell instead of playing a sight was because I had that beefy minion to be able to play out. And I think I didn't really have a lot of great spell options on curve in my hand, so I was trying to resolve that. Flamecaller is going to, unfortunately, damage down the White Knight with a Desert for 1 ping, a Violamp for 2, and then charging in with a Warhorse for the last 2 points. So it took a lot of doing on his part, but he did manage to remove that from the board, which is unfortunate because I kind of needed that piece on the board. So in response, I choose to spend the turn to take a step forward and then Magic Missile to remove the Violin. Looking at my board setup now, I kind of wish I had saved one of the Wall of Brambles to be able to play to the side, or maybe on my turn 4 I should have played a site out instead of tapped for a spell, just to get a site on that square adjacent to my tower, so he'd have one less border to come in through. He plays a Saracen Raider onto my site and attacks for 3. I tap for a site. And I drew a free city. It's unfortunate that I drew that free city now instead of getting it earlier, because it would have been much more useful out further up onto the board or in a different position. And then I took a step back to play another Magic Missile. I don't know if that was the right choice. Like I wasted a lot of turns in this game instead of playing sites to kind of like I tapped for a spell and then I had to take 2 steps to play out Magic Missiles to remove minions. So that probably that might have been a bad choice on my part for these early turns, not choosing not to just develop my mana base higher. And now he's got a Viking out, like in my corner, on my back row, threatening with a lance, which is a problem. I play the bats and I play them out there because I can't play them closer on the Gothic Tower, just because he could just tap to deal 2 points of damage and kill them. I tap to play the free city out, and again, the free city location, and like it's not the best location. It's not in a super relevant location on the board, which isn't great. Free city is a card that I would have like preferred to have in my opening hand or drawn into it on one of like my first or second site Atlas deck draws. Kieran opts to remove the bat with a Heat Ray and additionally deal 2 more points of damage to me. And he's going to Mad Dash the Viking, and then use the Viking to attack into my Sorcerer. And I clarified if he wanted to attack the site or my Sorcerer, and he said he wanted to attack the Sorcerer just to use the lance, get an extra point of damage. He was trying to kind of race down to door as fast as he could at that point, I think. But also, mostly, I believe he probably played the Mad Dash just to cycle it and get an extra card. So I'm in a pretty bad position here now. I've spent a lot of burn spells. I don't think I have a ton of minions capable of combating the Viking at 4 power right now. I play out a Quagmire to immobilize the Viking on my next turn. Now, Quagmire would just immobilize it and make it unable to use the move and attack ability, but it could still tap for its ability that does 2 points of damage. But I believe that, that was probably my best option at that point, to at least keep him at 2 points of damage. At 2 points of damage capped out. But he plays a Petrosian Cavalry, and he can tack in for 3 points. So he moved to attack in, but then realized that it was immobile. Now we're just having a quick discussion about what immobile does in the game. What we're talking about is saying like immobile only removes the move and attack ability from a card, versus if a card was disabled, then it would remove all abilities on the card. Essentially, it would have no text box, and it would have no basic ability, access to basic abilities as well. I don't remember if he chooses to activate the ability and deal 2 more points of damage. It looks like he did not after that conversation, although I believe he could. The Vikings can tap to deal 2 points of damage to all units on an adjacent site. An adjacent site would include the point of origin as well. But we might have just gotten sidetracked when we started talking about the difference between immobile and disabled. I'm going to tap to play out a Dark Tower. I do get the Genesis mana, so I'm sitting at 7 mana for the turn. I play out a Wyvern, which was a pretty good play that could have helped me stabilize, I believe. But if I recall in this game, you'll see on this next turn, I don't take into account a couple things, and I do some sequencing incorrectly. Or I should say not incorrectly, but not. I do some sequencing on my part not optimally. That would have possibly given me a better chance in this game. So Kyrian is opting to draw a site with the Flamecaller. And now he is attacking the site with the Trojan Cavalry. And this was my mistake. I chose to block with the Wyvern, thinking that the Vikings can't attack the Wyvern on their own because of Airborne, but I forgot that the Vikings also have that ability to deal 2 points of damage. And so he got 3 points in with the Cavalry, and then he did the last 2 with the Vikings to remove that. He's playing a giant. He's playing a red-breasted robin. At this point, like he has a lot of board presence versus kind of what I have, which is essentially nothing right now. I was really banking on getting more value out of that Wyvern, and I probably could have gotten more value out of the Wyvern if I had thought a little bit more about what was on the board and kind of what the implications for choosing to block the Petrosian Cavalry were going to be. I think in my mind I was thinking it didn't really make a difference because I could block one or the other of the Viking or the Petrosian Cavalry that turn, and he couldn't interact with the Wyvern, and the next turn I could clean up and kill the remaining minion if available. But again, that was just like hindsight 2020, and that was just oversight on my part. I was probably already Also slightly tilted at that point, just because I mean my life total was dwindling down there at 6 to 20. So I play out a Squire, I play out an Apprentice Wizard. They're chump blockers at best here. I really don't have anything to be able to deal with these 4 power minions on the board. He's swinging at the site with the Viking. I do block with the Wizard, and then he's gonna move in and attack my tower with the Siege Giant for 4 points. So he's still getting that 4 points in, and he can also move in and attack with the Red-Breasted Robin for 1 point, and then at end of turn, Red-Breasted Robin will ping everything on that site for 1 point, including the Avatar, which will take me to Death's Door. At this point in the game, the writing is kind of on the wall for my deck, and I don't really have a way out of here. I'm trying to think if there was anything that could have saved me in this deck at the common or uncommon rarity level. Possibly if I was in red and playing Poison Nova, I could have cleared everything out and maybe attempted to stabilize. But the problem is also that now that I'm on Death's Door, I'm playing against the Flamecaller. He has fire minions in his cemetery, so all he has to do is line up the projectile and tap to get that last point of damage onto me. So at this point, like, you know, all he has to do is all he really has to do is tap to deal his Flamecaller ability. Which I think is what he does. Yep, and we end the game here. So it was a bit of a blowout on my deck. Again, the Pauper format is a fun format, and it allows you to kind of experiment with some fun deck types that you wouldn't normally, I think try to make work in a fully constructed format. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.